Before the zombies could react, Trong Yi entered the dubious subject. Go to the army. From Fat, clenching the car window, screaming 7 old men. The flower also rolled its eyes full of anxiety. It doesn't understand. What is the owner going to do? No, if everyone in the group knows. I wouldn't take that risk. So he did it quickly. The king has followed the war since the beginning of the end of the world. So I'm very confident in the decision of the translation. The king told everyone. No SAO. Trong's ability, even though it can't be solved. Zombies can also safely escape. Let's just do what he says and wait for him to come back. The View just said. I just picked up a gun pointing back. Zombies shoot one. The shooting caused 10 zombies to be shot out. His legs and arms were scattered everywhere. People are worried about the epidemic. But when I hear The View, I feel a little better. Now they have the only way, is to believe in Trong Yi. They lived together for almost half a year. Living under one roof. They know exactly what Zhang Yi is. He's so steady that people feel secure. If you're not sure, he certainly won't let himself, or anyone else, fall into a dangerous situation. So they're trying to attract more zombies. To relieve the pressure. On the other side, Zheng Yat first floated in the air. Continuously use your power to attack the zombies. Every wave, his energy can destroy 10 of them. But even with this extraordinary power, he still can't change the situation in front of him. Like grains of sand in the desert, in the face of zombies. The giant. More and more people are targeting him. After a while, Zheng first felt tired. The boat has now reached land. But the pressure that the investigation team faced has never been reduced. Around the snow covered in zombies. And from the lake, there are also zombies with wet feet. Of course, the destruction capacity of the armed forces at this time cannot be used if he wants to keep the fake life. With the damage it does to the body. Say not, just a few more uses. He's going to see the king of hell. The less others need to say. Even with strong fighting power. But face the giant zombie army. They are also powerless. They stand back to back in a circle. Keep going forward. But AI also knows, once they run out of energy, everyone will die here. And will die incompletely. The heavy atmosphere enveloped everyone's mind. This feeling of despair is even more intense than last time, fighting in the snow. Zheng Yat first tried to convince the armed forces. Leave with me. In his mind, even though the Tianhai city may be flattened, but if they keep the captain of the investigation team, the future, they still hope to negotiate with the South. He told the military, Captain, come with me. Get out of here, we still have hope. The army has been coughing non-stop. Zheng Yat, go away first. He's dying and doesn't want to abandon his team. Before you die, you have to leave a smell. Let his family, they can enjoy better living conditions. Because of his sacrifice. On the other hand, he knows that no one on the investigation team wants to abandon their team to survive on my own. They want to live together or die together. The military is so determined. Trin Tin Tian also bagged the rice. He whispered. Fools really don't know. If so, don't blame me. Zheng Jingxian turned to fly away. He secretly thought they must die. If a nuclear weapon is launched, the efforts that have fed these zombies, or is it just a number? My work and the radiation will be gone. I'd rather go back now and activate the blood sugar. Make the zombies kill themselves. These people are destined to die. Armed soldiers, if you really don't understand this, it will be your own 7. In the heart, the first Zhang Yat has now made a clear decision. Whether the investigation team is killed or not, it doesn't matter anymore. Just let the zombies disappear. At least for a short time. The city of heaven will not be destroyed. They still have a chance to grow. Just a few more months. They can raise another giant zombie army. The Mediterranean city lacks anything. There is no shortage of dead. After Zhang Yat first left, the plague is also fast transfer close to the border and his group. At the speed of space travel, even in the midst of zombies. Don't worry about being attacked. The location of the border troops and his group is also easy to find. Because in the midst of the zombies, there's a place where the most zombies are concentrated. The zombies are pushing each other. Has formed a pile up to 6 meters high. They stomp on their fellow human heads to move forward. He appeared in front of the military. Make them panic. Why are you here too? Everyone just cheered. I was afraid to see a sudden appearance. It's because of Zhang's powerful ability. I am glad for his appearance. It can give us hope of survival. When the border troops saw Zhang Yi, he immediately asked Zhang Yi, "You're here to save us, aren't you?" Even though people are trying to fight off zombies. But they're all following the translation. I hope to get a positive answer from him. Even though they know in their heart that hope is not great, but in a desperate situation, they're willing to take every opportunity, even if it's just a straw. He gasped and said seriously, "The picture is worse than I thought. Our power is limited to just moving. And we can only get one person out of here." Listen to Trong. Everyone's mood suddenly dropped. You can only take one person, so AI will be that person. If we don't solve the zombie problem, it doesn't make sense for that AI to leave. My face was tired at the time. His eyes were filled with no hope anymore. She sighed in helplessness. Looks like we're really going to die here this time. You say that, but you don't regret it. The end of the world made the entire city of Tianhai. It becomes a dead land. Most people are no longer there. Her family, friends, and teammates. He fell down next to you. In fact, you're still alive today. It was a miracle. The military also became melancholy. He remained rational and asked, "So what's your purpose here? If we're not sure we can save us, your coming is useless. Speak in a hurry. This time I've come to offer you a possibility. We have an idea that's not sure if it works. But we can try once. The enemy is eager to say, so you quickly say Ra. Everyone is looking forward to seeing Zhangji. Let's see what he says. I don't wait for people to translate. Do you remember the ice cream? Stomach knot. Of course, people remember that stuff. The Wu army realized Zhang Yi's intentions. Zhang Yi told them you need to know that. Ice has 2 special abilities. First, it helps people who are not awake to discover his own power. Second, it supports those who have awakened. Develop potential and enhance strength. He took a deep breath and looked at the soldiers. Actually, before, I've used amber tape to enhance your ability. Thanks to that, we can become one of those people. Have a high level of ability. In the city, Tianhai, the red man admitted the truth. We also used ice. If I'm not wrong, the ocean and the sky have also used it. In the heart of Trong Yi suddenly found surprise. This is the first time he's heard this information. What does this mean? If they die, you or not, will inherit their powerful aptitude. However, after careful reflection, this makes sense. In the end times, power comes first. Leaders of the different forces definitely won't miss the opportunity to increase your power, to maintain a dominant position. Moreover, the thermos does not cause side effects if the user doesn't die. I thought I would try ice cream. But he also knows that this toy is unreliable. Once used, they will become your prey, not fake. He also wanted to use the lie that he used the bandage, deceiving them to eat ice. I don't think they ate it. The military is asking what you mean. We should use amber to enhance our strength, and then break the siege. Nod your head. Now, that's the only path we can take. You're also top mutants. If you use amber tape, they may break through their own limits and become stronger. Then we'll have a chance to get out. The school district attorney and others frowned. In my heart start to think. In the current emergency, every method that can help them get out of the box. It's all worth thinking about. No one wants to die. The enemy hurriedly urged the military leader. Let's try SAO. Zhanji is even generous. Give out an amber. This bandage can be used by you. He's got a total of 3 amber. And for this unstable material, he doesn't need to hold too much either. The soldiers looked at Zhang Yi, even though he was wearing black glasses. But Zhang Yi can still feel it, his cold eyes. He had a hunch, as if he had been seen by the armed forces. Whether my little thoughts, it may be the border. An experienced person realized that. After a moment of thinking, the border troops received the bandits that Trong Yip gave. Zhang Yi retained an amber ice to assign to the research area, Jiangnam's experiment Grand District, to see the armed forces receive the tape to express their joy. It's perfect. Border troops, look at the amber. Now we can only try once. The champion hurried to let us join. Other members also spoke up. We'll do it together. They've been through a lot of wind. Know that amber can cause side effects. But the danger is present. They want to die together. Surprisingly, the army spoke loudly. Not just one user is enough. He looked at Zhanji and thought to himself, I owe you a debt of gratitude for this. He glanced at the white stone. Spheres in my hand. It's soft and cold as ice. And there seems to be life moving softly. The army did not hesitate. Put amber ice on my forehead. A deep smile is revealed. His goal has been achieved. The police chief looked at the border. Can't say a word. The enemy with a sad face, the leader. Let me do it, let me do it. They understand at SAO border Vu do so. A month ago, they know that if the border troops retreat to rest, He also had a maximum of 2 years to live. But for family, a better future for my wife, the military decided to stay on the front lines. This old captain always lead in times of danger, protect people under any circumstances. The ice quickly melts in. Foreheads of armed soldiers. Zheng Yat first observed from a distance, suddenly surprised. And then there was this great joy on my face. He dare not believe that the Wu army used amber ice. Strong type of heterosexuality. This is something that's never happened in Tianjin. With an attack that's hard to fool. And Zhang Yat first also knew that the life of the soldiers is not much. As long as he dies, his power will be transferred to the undead. At that time, you're not going to become a mutant. It's actually one of the most powerful levels that humanity has ever known. Even reaching their dreams is not far away. Border armor absorption amber. It's not as difficult as honey. Just for a moment, he emits a horrible gas. It makes the whole chapter shiver. The more others feel cold. It's our instinct in the face of a powerful being. Soldiers straighten themselves up. He slowly takes off his sunglasses to reveal gray-white eyes. But now, those gray-white eyes gave off 2 bright rays. Extremely sacred, as if I could see through everything. The armed forces restored the light. He smiled happily. I haven't seen the world with my eyes in a long time. He felt he was in the best condition. It's as if there's an infinite amount of power in the body. This moment, he's finally no longer a Delta mutant, which has officially entered the 5-cup line. However, when the power is enhanced, his body seemed to have a hole in it. It's getting wider, very quickly. The amber unleashed his potential, as if it couldn't make up for the lack of capacity. The power inside his body. It's even made it worse. By military mouth bleeding, cough terrible. The enemy and everyone called out anxiously. Leader. The military marbles waved their hands and told everyone to close their eyes. Everyone listened, closed their eyes. They stop attacking and the zombies, no longer hindered, roar and rush like giant monsters. I want to swallow them. Despite being warned by the armed forces, the epidemic still stealthily opens the door to space. Then open your eyes. He wants to consider. See the real power of the border. When fully awake, what is it like? With the defensive power of his space door, he believed he was capable of observing. Even though this power is strong, but if we don't target him directly, it's not enough to hurt him. Right then, in the middle of the river, a ray brighter than the sun, more vibrant and vast than anything that explodes raw. No one can see what's going on. They didn't even hear any sound. Just feel the footsteps, gentle and slow. He looked at the backs of the soldiers. He's in his pocket. Step slowly forward. The white light covers the world. Far ahead is a thick darkness. It's a horrible zombie colony. It's unspeakable. But the Wu border troops turned a blind eye to them, as if they didn't exist. The darkness is so thick, in an instant, it suddenly disappeared like smoke. Non-alkaline saliva is swallowed. As a habit, he held up his hand to cover Chang's bright light. Side arms. He's playing out his last glory. Look at the shadow of his back. There was respect in his eyes. The chief thanked him for his sacrifice. Your sacrifice will not be wasted. It's unclear how long time has passed. There is no command of the armed forces. Others dare not open their eyes. Because destroying this magic is so powerful. Even members of the investigative team, I can't even open my eyes to look straight. At this time, the army used ice. It can be more powerful than ever before. He has no doubt now. This is the mainstream cylinder press. To expand the thought, he continues to fight endlessly, is to solve the biggest problem for SAO teammates. This degree of release of the dexterity, sure, will cause his smoldering lesions to flare up. There's only Zhang Yi, thanks to the prerequisite of the defensive space door. Dare to open your eyes at this moment. Between heaven and earth, the white light that covered everything gradually disappeared. There are no more zombies around. 3 great powers are in sight. It makes you stunned and scared. Dare not come close. A scene like that, they've never seen it in their lives either. In Zheng's eyes, the fairy seemed crazy. The corner of his mouth he could barely control. No, I can't laugh. We only have one last step to win. That idiot chapter. You have given us such a great grace. Ha ha ha. Now all the leaders of the big bases in Tianhai City, even the armed forces use amber. Just remove them. We're closer to realizing our dreams. On the battlefield, the white light fades away. The soldiers turn towards the crowd. He closed his eyes and pretended to see nothing. But after a moment, he felt a hand on his shoulder. His hand was heavy and steady as a mountain. A little tense. Just hear that AI's cold voice echoing. By the ear. Don't pretend you didn't look very closely. Zhang Yi laughed and slowly opened his eyes. Have you found out? But when he saw the faces of the soldiers, his smile also stiffened a little. Because the face of the frontier became much colder. There's even a smile full of deep meaning. Chong Ying with sincere eyes. Captain, thank you for saving us. The West must remain on the shoulders of the military. Make him feel real pressure. Even though they know that the army will not live long. But after using magic tapes to break through to the Fklon level, the soldiers could easily kill him. At such a close distance. The military continued. You calculated very well. Even we are no exception. Eyebrow movement calm, Korean low voice. Sorry, I don't want to do that. It's a backup. There's no other way now. We can only act like that. The epidemic does not lie. He has prepared 3 plans. The first option. Take advantage of the taboo of the snow flute for Jiangnan area. Force them to release the Tang army. But he overestimated it. The control of the sermon. For the zombies. When zombies explode, the snow can't be controlled. It's like the previous battle of the snows. East armor, the enemy will attack him and his group. The second option. Army infantry and his group. Use amber tape to enhance strength. To break the zombie army. The third option. Is Zhang, the translator, and his team abandon the city of Tianhai to escape before nuclear weapons are launched. He doesn't want that either. Though SAO, he and the military have no grudge against each other. Soldiers shake their heads. No matter how long we don't have to live. In other words, I should thank you. Without your offer, we can't have a bloom. Finally beautiful in life. He looked down at his hand. This is the SAO level of Gong power. It's very strong, but there will be no next time. Suddenly, his tall body trembled. Hands are on your shoulders, softly let go. He hurriedly grabbed his body and said, "Don't worry. After you leave, we'll solve all the rest of the problems of Tianhai City." The military looked at Zhang Yi suspiciously. "Turns out you're hiding a lot of secrets." In the end, what is this? The army could not wait. The answer to the translation chapter. He was in the last minutes of his life. Complete a beautiful transformation to the ultimate flower. But it's also completely exhausting. Set of his life. He fell into the arms of Zhang Yi. No longer emits any sound. Not long after, the others realized the war was over. They opened their eyes. On the battlefield, hundreds of thousands of zombies. It's almost gone now. No more shadows of the zombies. There's not a single one left. There are only a few zombies left. Like they can't pose any threat. For their group. I can't believe I opened my eyes. Voice trembling. It's over. It's really over. You've just prepared psychologically for death. After being attacked by countless zombies. Now it's completely different. You feel like you're dreaming a sweet dream. But the investigation team couldn't be happier. They understand that the armed forces are at this level. What does it mean? The enemy saw Trong Yip hugging the armed soldiers. He raised his face to the sky, screaming in despair. The old man suddenly. He rushed towards the epidemic and snatched weapons from Zhang Yi's arms. His eyes were filled with fear. Panic as a child. The old man woke up and woke up. Don't sleep. If you sleep, you won't wake up. He tried to talk to the Thai border troops. But only silence. Normal enemies are very unruly naughty. Now I cry like a child. To move quietly backwards. I know it's time for everyone to say goodbye. Force of arms Baklai. School bar and others hurried back. Surrounded the bodies of the soldiers. On everyone's face there was a look of sadness. But except the enemy doesn't cry. They just put their right hand on their chest and silently salute the troops. In the end world, even warriors like them. I've been through so much separation and death. Scenes like this, they're not the first time they've seen it. Maybe in the future, that's the fate of each of them. No more tears or words. Only the respect that forever lives in the heart. The enemy still hugged the body of the border troops, even though he turned his back on the epidemic. But Zhang Yi could still see his shoulder, endlessly shivering. It seems that the relationship between him and the armed forces, it's not that simple. Nguyen Din Hai in turn with Trin Dat Tien. Those who are far are also near. They didn't expect that everything will be resolved this way. I saw 100,000 zombies destroyed. Everyone in my heart breathed a sigh of relief. Zheng first felt satisfied. Despite the loss of 100,000 zombies, But this kind of creature, just enough time and enough nutrients, it will soon be recreated. But the acquisition of the capabilities of the armed forces, the benefits are incomparable. This is a great benefit. Zheng Jingxian smiled silently in his heart. He's watching the group next door, silently counting the number of people who have used the amber. It's like a farmer taking care of his crops, waiting for harvest. Wei Hai and his group of people pass by. From the bottom of my heart, pay respect to the armed forces. Without the sacrifice of the armed forces, the entire city of Tianhai has collapsed. The enemy hugs the body of the border troops, sitting on the ground silent without a word. Meanwhile, the deputy captain of the schools, with a serious face. Now that the captain's dead, according to local regulations, I will temporarily assume the position of captain. To get the information device from the soldiers, and seriously contact superiors in Jiangnan Great Region. Everybody's serious. Watch his actions. In Jiangnan, Zhou Zheng always observes the group of the border troops through the monitoring screen. Deputy Chief of Staff calls to report the current situation for Chu Main. The zombies have been destroyed. South Africa, as I said earlier. We need to cancel the nuclear weapons launch. Listen to this, Chu said heavily. He's finally gone, isn't he? The police chief heard the chief sigh softly. Chu continued. It's good to be a soldier. Death on the battlefield is the best outcome for him. I believe that he didn't want to prolong the last days in the hospital bed. The grown-up lawyer asked the marshal, "What are we going to do next?" He looked at the big screen in front of him. Image of the armed forces frontier. The enemy and his group appear on the screen. He told them to bring back the bodies of the soldiers. The investigation team is gone, the strongest fighter and commander. It's no longer a complete team. Zhu does not want to lose more any elite warrior in his hands. Even more now. When zombies in Tianhai City, it's been cleaned into batches. In a short time, there will be no more big changes. Yes, Commander. Bok Lai, school bar ended the conversation with Chu Main. Turn your head, and told Zhang Yi and the others. The snowstorm canceled the plan to launch nuclear weapons. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They successfully protected the city of Tianhai, as well as survival bases, and members of our group. Zheng Yat advanced to, two hands clasped in front of chest, pray for the armed forces and those who have died. In this time, may my soul live forever in heaven. About the death of the armed frontier, people aren't to hurt. It's about being grateful. His actions helped the city of Tianhai out of danger. Reality. Everyone in the world is excited right now. Zhang Epidemic glanced at Zhang Jerking first, when he is not careful. Sudden epidemic expansion. Take out a long Min banyan tree from the space of power. People looked in surprise at the epidemic. Wu stared intently at Trong Yi, frowned, and asked, "What are you going to do?" To turn people around, eyes staring at the sky. It's scary to take a few steps back. What are you going to do? What are you doing taking your life? Laughing for an hour. Accelerate up to 8 times and powerfully crash out front. A sword made of metal that nothing can destroy. Combined with Zhang's abilities, the easier it is to cut off the steel. It's easy to get through a body. The blade gave off a strange light. A stream of blood from the tip of the knife flows back towards the handle, along with the human body. Read the jacket. The smile on Zhang Yat's face disappeared. He lowered his head, looking through the hole in my chest, where the blade pierced through the bewildered eyes. He couldn't understand where this knife came from. But in an instant, he understood it all. Because he could clearly see the movement in the distance. In his hand held a dagger that crashed towards the celestial. But the blade's body mysteriously disappeared in the middle of the stitch. Immediately pull out the long sword Ra. The blood remains. It causes the wounds of the injured. It's getting more serious. And the blood doesn't stop flowing. Tim immediately fell to the ground. Fresh blood dyed his chest red. Pepper Pink practiced frowning loudly. Translation: What are you doing? Everyone else is looking towards the epidemic, eyes full of vigilance. Despite their past with the Snows, there is a discordant relationship. But now they're cooperating and just fighting. It should have been a moment of joy. But Zhang Yi silently launched an assassination. That really makes people despise. Bok Lai, the director and members of the investigation team, eyebrow watching, but don't say a word. They don't want to get involved in the struggle between the indigenous forces of the Tianhai city. Zhang Yat first raised his head, staring at the translation chapter. The princes of the Snows are angry. Protect Zhang jerking behind. Then prepare to fight Zhang Yi. Browsing and others. He also stands next to the epidemic, ready to fight. Normal welding of the snow spear, with the most fiery temperament, ready to attack the enemy. Zhang Yi is still holding the knife in his hand. The bright light makes Korea often have to be careful. A voice echoing through. Zhang Yi, why did you suddenly hurt someone?